Finding Calm in the Chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finding Calm in the Chaos. I'm Denise, and it is Wednesday. I'm finally dropping on a regular day. Whoop, whoop. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back for that. I'm getting my shit back into action, people here. I'm getting it back into action. I currently am still, I know you guys don't care, but I'm just stating that's part of this. This is an informative podcast. I still am not happy with any podcasting advertisers, sponsors. So I'm probably maybe in February going to just start sponsoring products that I personally love, that I have codes for, that I use every day. Just so that you guys can share in that, because I'm an active user, so you might as well, or consumer, so you might as well get some benefit from it should you wish to consume it as well. So January still going to be sponsor free. Today I have called today's episode Active Listening, and this is something that, as part of my connecting that I want to do this year, that I am trying to be an active listener. Now, I know that some people just struggle with listening in general. They talk over everybody. I have this kind of twofold for me. So I'm going to get a little, open with you guys here. I have lived quite a life. And sometimes when people talk to me, I will often feel like I have this cute little story off of what they are saying. And I'm now realizing that it's not always appropriate to tell those stories when people are trying to communicate with me. That's not just the right time. Okay. And I get that. I know that. I'm trying to refrain from doing that. I've done better than I have in the past. I actually have done so good in some situations that I have listened to people talk and they've been like, "Hey, are you there?" "Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you." "Oh, because I didn't hear you at all. You didn't comment." "Because I'm listening to you." "Oh, okay." Because they expected me to break in with a little story, and I didn't. So I'm going to talk about how you become an active listener, but also I'm going to talk about how I have been struggling with actually becoming an active listener, but in a way that some people might not understand. And I'm really struggling with this. This is my one issue that I'm really, really trying to work on. I'm going out there. I'm just letting you guys know, disclaimer, Buster's looking out the window, which means that if anything floats by, he's going to bark like a fool. Okay, so I'm going to start with some points into how we can become an active listener. So there are basically 5 key elements to being an active listener, and they all help ensure that you hear the other person and that the other person knows that you're listening to what they say, right? That is an active conversation. And I really want to do this because I feel like right now in my life, I'm learning more, not by my experiences, but by other people's experiences now. I want to listen to things so that I can absorb more as part of being in the present moment, right? I don't want to worry. I don't want to anticipate. I want to live in today. And in order to do that, I'm giving all of this stuff to God and all of that. I'm going to talk about something next week. I'm going to talk about something that went down during the Brick Fest, just so you guys all know, what I live with daily, that it's not all roses. But we'll save that for next episode. So again, 5 key elements to active listening, so that you're actually listening to the other person and they understand that you're listening to what they're saying. Is number 1, obviously, pay attention. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? But you want to give your speaker undivided attention. and acknowledge their message, right? Recognize that nonverbal communication also, like quote unquote, speaks loudly. Look directly at the speaker. And I have been doing this. Okay. I've been trying to, I'm pretty good at looking people in the eye anyway. I know Mr. Sith struggles with that, but I do not. Put aside distracting thoughts. I do that. Okay. And don't mentally prepare a rebuttal. Okay. Let people talk, right? Avoid being distracted by environmental like factors. Listen to the speaker's body language, right? Refrain from side conversations when listening in a group setting. And it was interesting because I just had a dinner. Like they're listening. I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. But I just had a lunch with two friends, and they're from two different, it's kind of strange. So we're all connected by Pete's godmother, who's deceased now. But one of us was like, one friend is like through her. They were like really good friends. They were like besties. And then the other friend is someone that I went to grammar school also. So it was two people who went to grammar school with her. They're still friends. And then one that was her best friend after grammar school. Does that make sense? But then it's weird because that one that went to, that was friends with her after grammar school, you know, later in life, I went to high school with that person. I didn't know her though. Isn't that insane? Like same graduating year. Insane. Not too insane because it's a Chicago public high school and I'm pretty sure there were like 2003 people in my graduating class. But how insane is that? So I was trying to be a part of a conversation, but look, and in the event that one started talking about something else, that I made sure that I looked at the person who was finishing the story. So that was interesting dynamics to me because I'm usually the storyteller. So it was super interesting. So pay attention, right? Again, give your speaker undivided attention, acknowledge their message, and recognize that nonverbal communication is amazing, right? Look at the speaker directly. Put aside distracting thoughts. Don't already like be planning your rebuttal while they're actually talking. Don't do that. I've done that in the past. Avoid being distracted by environmental factors. Listen to the speaker's body language and refrain from side conversations when you're listening in a group setting. That was super hard. I'm not going to lie. Number 2, show that you are listening. Okay. Don't like be distracted. Put your fucking phone away. I cannot stand when people even have their phone out at a table. It's very distressing to me. Now, I do know that some people use their phone for medical reasons. So one of our people at the lunch, I think she was also using her phone for personal reasons, but she also uses it to control her hearing aid, which I'm totally okay with that. And some also use it to control medical devices. I'm totally okay with that. But I am not a fan of anybody having their phone out at the table. It makes me insane, especially if you're having a conversation. And we're going to go into something else in a little bit. So show that you're listening. Use your own body language and your gestures to convey your attention, like not occasionally, I agree. Yeah. Smile. Use other facial expressions. If she just told you that she fell out of her shower naked and, there was, the plumber was still in there, be like, whoa, make that face. Okay. Note your posture. Okay. Make sure it's open and inviting. Don't cuddle your phone. Don't have your fingers crossed. Don't be staring at your watch, that kind of stuff. Encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments. Yeah. No, really? Keep the story going. So show that you're listening is super important. Number 3, provide feedback. Okay. So now this is kind of like a test and a testament as to how well you were listening, right? Our personal filters, assumptions, judgments, and benefits, right? These can distort what we hear. And as a listener, your role is to understand what's being said. And this, can require you to reflect on what's being said and ask questions. Okay. You're not judging, you're just asking a question. You're having a conversation. Reflect on what has been said by like paraphrasing. Like what I'm hearing is, sounds like you're saying. Those are great ways to give feedback. Okay. Because you're not giving a personal opinion. You're just asking them. What I'm hearing is this. Sounds like what you're saying is this. Okay. Ask questions to clarify certain points. What do you mean when you say this? Is this what you mean? Summarize whoever's speaking's comments periodically. That keeps you engaged in the conversation. So I'm having to do that. And I'm going to explain after why I'm having to do that. Because if you, and this is the thing too. So if you find yourself responding emotionally, this is very common in today's world, is that we can't have conversations with anybody because we take everything personally. That really has to be put to the side. Okay. So if you find yourself responding emotionally to what someone said, say so and ask for more information. It's okay, but don't get like argumentative with them. I may not be understanding you correctly, and I'm finding myself taking what you said personally. What I thought you said is that blah, blah, blah. Is that what you meant? Don't get crazy. Oh my God, why would you say that? I'm this way, blah, 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 blah. It's always about us in this world. And it's not about us. We're nobody. We're like little tiny flies in the middle of a whole world filled with too many flies. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you. If you think it's about you, it's not about you. And if you think it's about you, you probably done some weird shit that it probably could be you, and the other person doesn't have a clue. So stop feeling so guilty and stop doing stupid shit. Just saying. It's true. 4, defer judgment. So this is for me. This is what I'm working on. Interrupting is a waste of time because number one, it frustrates the speaker and it limits the full understanding of the message or the story they're trying to tell. Allow the speaker to finish and don't interrupt with counter arguments because that's what is part of a conversation. Wait till they state all of their stuff first and they finish their story, and then you can add stuff as you go. This is super hard. I still do it. I'm probably still gonna do it on occasion. I'm trying to do it less. I know I'm doing it less, but I'm still doing it. Okay. And this happened a lot during our conversations with my friends on Thursday. I've had to try to look over to the original speaker because we got sidetracked by one to go back over to her because I wanted to hear the rest of the story. You know what I'm saying? And 5, respond appropriately. So active listening is a model for respect and understanding. When you think about it, right? It is. Actively listening is a model for respect and understanding. And you are gaining information and perspective. You don't add anything by attacking a speaker or otherwise putting him or her down. Be candid, open, and honest in your responses. Assert your opinions respectfully, but treat the other person as you or he would want to be treated. And so this, I think, is really, really important. So becoming an active listener, pay attention, show that you're listening, provide feedback, defer judgment, respond appropriately. Now, let me explain something. I have an issue with listening. Again, I have the parentals upstairs again, speaking at a volume that I don't understand why I have to hear it on another floor of my house, but whatnot. Hopefully Mr. Sith can get that out of there when we post this and do the editing. So that aside, I'm struggling with parts of listening for a couple reasons. Number one, my first issue is hearing in general. I am struggling with my hearing. It has never been worse. And I'm not picking up all of the words. So I'm finding that I'm kind of staring at people intently, probably like a weirdo, at their lips to try to hear what they're saying. And sometimes I will ask a question mid, story conversation because I lost track or I didn't understand something because I couldn't hear it. So I'll ask, I'm sorry, wait, what did you say? Because I can't hear. So now I just tell people, I'm sorry, I have hearing deficit. What did you say? Like, and I just need you to pick up like the last line. So Mr. Sith and I do this all the time. Something will happen on TV, and I cannot watch TV unless there are subtitles because I cannot hear 80% of the tones. I can only hear certain tones. So while I'm watching, if I'm crocheting, I'm literally crocheting and looking up at the words, crocheting, looking up at the words, crochet. And most likely if I'm crocheting, I'm counting. Like I'm currently on a project that I'm counting. So I'm crocheting, looking up, reading, crocheting, looking at reading. And I'm trying to maintain the show that we're watching. But then sometimes I'll miss something. I looked up too late and I missed the words, right, on the subtitles. So I'll look over at Mr. Sith and I'll say, what did he say? And then instead of just telling me, oh, he said that they missed the last clue. They were watching Amazing Race or something, right? So, and then instead he'll go, well, and it's literally like 5 minutes ago. He's starting the whole story. And I'm like, nope. Because now I got to pause the TV because now I can't read anything. I literally need the last 5 words the man said. That's all I need. But it's very difficult to keep up with this. Okay. So I'm also trying to do conversations. And when I'm in public, I'm hearing all of the ambient sound around me, right? So I'm trying to tune that out. And sometimes there's always somebody in the room who is speaking the exact tone that I hear. And they could be sitting 800 feet away from me, but that's all I hear. I can't even hear the 2 people at my table. And I'm just like staring at them, but all I hear is this one person. And I'm like, why can't that person be at my table? Like, why can't I hear that person? Needs to be sitting here, like, and be like the tone my friends speak. Just joking. But you know what I mean? So I need to listen and look intently. So that's why if at this point I have found that if someone else is interrupting a story, now I'm super lost because this is what happens. I can't hear physically, like hearing deficit. And number 2, I'm struggling with active listening because of retention, because I have lupus and I have rheumatoid arthritis, and both create brain fog in which sometimes I'm just not getting it. Like somebody will say something, I'm having trouble remembering stuff. And so you're looking at the person and I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry. We were just talking about this, but what did you say? Because I know they just said it and I was just looking at them, but I don't remember. Well, we're talking about, I'm sorry, who are we talking about again? Are we like somebody from high school, this person? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Carry on. It has been increasingly difficult for me to fix this part. And to me, it's kind of like a catch-all, right? I want to be an active listener, but at the same time, I have some disabilities working against me and it could be frustrating, but at some point I have to just chuck it up to, it's just a thing. Okay. And I don't want to hear about how you have some product that helps brain fog. Trust me, nothing clears this up. Over time, my diet will correct all this and it'll get better with time. And it is what it is. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I have lupus. It's not going to go away. I have rheumatoid arthritis. It's not go away. I live without medication and I'm okay with that. Sometimes you have to take these small little things, and just deal with that, because I'd rather have this brain fog than be worried about whether or not I can not walk anywhere because I'm so inflamed. So it's just been something that's been repetitively just something that I'm trying to work on, but I feel like it's just a little mountain, that I've a little molehill. It's not like horrible, but I think that it's becoming much better for me. I think I'm truly improving as a listener. It's just a matter of trying to break down like whether it is. But one of the things that I am working on is being actively remembering. Like I'll leave myself notes but it seems like more I'm having trouble in the moment with recall versus long-term recall. Does that make sense? So like if something happened last week, I know. And I know this sounds weird because you're like, if you don't remember in the moment, how do you? I don't know. It's something I think about being just like overly inundated with stuff, overly stimulated. I feel like if I'm overly stimulated or in an environment that's overly stimulated and multiple things are happening and I'm planning or doing stuff or whatever, it tends to be a little overwhelming. And for some reason, I'm not catching things in the moment, but that I'm aware that they're happening, if that makes sense. So I don't know if this is like you or if it's not, but for all my autoimmune peeps out there, I feel like I'm aware it's happening, but for some reason I just can't recall at the moment. But if you ask me about it like a week from now, I could tell you what it was, but that at the time I had all these things going on, so I just couldn't compute at the moment. Does that make sense? It's kind of strange because one of the things that I've been really trying to work on with Mr. Sith is communication. It's always been like our uphill battle has been communication because I talk too much and he doesn't talk at all. And so we work on it, but he's truly frustrating sometimes because I feel like you don't want me to talk, but I have to talk, but you don't talk at all. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this catch-22 in this vicious circle that we're constantly going in. But the good news is, it's like that's part of like marriage. We'll be married, I think it's 12 or 13 years. I don't even know. But here's me. I don't even know. We were married in 2012. Peter was born in 2015. 2012, we were married. So I don't know. Do the math. And I feel like we've become so much closer with that. But when we get this, when and if we get this communication thing down, we're going to be like vicious, man. We are going to be like a monumental mountain that nobody could cross. That's for sure. Until then, we're good. Just don't get us to talk to each other quite yet. It's just like, we're trying to figure it out. But that's part of what makes a good marriage. You know, you want to work on these things, but you have to work on it as an individual first. And that's why I don't even want to talk to you about Mr. Sith's issue. I don't feel like I feel, which is not me. It's just, it is me. It's not him. So for me, I feel he doesn't work on things like he should. That he's a lot of talk, but no action. Yeah, I want that, but he doesn't do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I'm a doer and he's a talker. And sometimes he doesn't talk at all. He'll just answer to get me to shut the fuck up. Let's just be honest. And he might say he doesn't do that, but he sure as fuck does. And I'm okay with that because obviously everything else is okay. But it's just something that we truly need to work on. And when we get it down, we are going to be solid as all heck, period. So that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to work on listening this year to your friends, listening to your family, or trying to improve that because it really does help you live in the moment. It has helped me tremendously live in the moment. And also being very, trying to stick with what you want to do and how you want to live your life. The changes start with you. You could talk about it all you want. I could talk about all the things I want, but unless I start actively doing them and sticking with them, your friends, your family, that don't believe in change or they don't believe people can grow, that's okay. But if they keep witnessing you not falling into your old ways, then eventually they're going to step back from you. And I'm slowly seeing that now. What happens is I see it in people not calling anymore, people not engaging anymore. And that's okay because you really want engagement and calls from people who are constantly wanting you to trigger into old ways or ways of you that, that you just don't align with where you're going in stepping forward. And that's okay. But listening is a vital thing. And it's going to be like my change for today. I can't make connections with people if I'm not a good listener. I can't improve how I respond to anxiety and stress if I'm not a good listener. I can't, move forward with better communication in my marriage or with my child if I'm not a good listener. So these are all the things that I have found that I'm trying to work on so that I can keep moving forward. And that's where we're at today. I knew I wouldn't have a long one because we had a long one last week. But until next week, you guys know, lead with kindness.